Hello, we're back.
Hey,
Another day after show. Neil and I are here. Neil, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you? How's
I'm
Seattle?
I'm fantastic. It just started raining a little while ago, unfortunately, but we're here. You can tell the vibes are high in Seattle. We're ready for 2 nights of Goose. Coming off of a really fun show in Boise last night, which I'm excited to talk about. But you're back there on the East Coast. You're staying up some late nights for you, even though you said that you weren't going to be staying up. You
Yep.
inexplicably are still awake at the end of
Well,
every show.
just last night. I mean, I was going to go to bed at set break, but I was like, nah, I got to get more of this. And I'm glad that I did. So I watched the
Yeah.
whole thing.
And I'm betting that's going to continue to happen throughout
Probably
the rest
not.
of this tour. And
Probably not.
we've all heard that before. Well, before we bring our guest on and before we dive into last night's show, of course, quick word from our sponsor today, which is Beekeepers Naturals. Powered by nature and obsessively tested, Beekeepers uses potent ingredients like propolis, pollen, and royal jelly and steers clear of added chemicals. In a day and age where we want to boost our immune system as much as possible, Beekeepers Naturals has many products from lozenges to gut health supplements to support us and tap into the magic of nature. Personally, I don't leave home without one of their propolis throat sprays, which is especially supportive when singing my heart out at shows. Use code STORMSOUND at checkout for 20% off your order at beekeepersnaturals.com. Yes, I do have it in my pocket, and I have been using it this week, and it has been very helpful because people who know me at shows know that I sing very loudly. So
It's true.
it's important. And I'm excited to see somebody who is not a fan of that tonight. Well, without further ado, let's bring on our special guest. We have got, it's a black, there we go. We've got Mayo here. Mayo, how are you?
Oh,
Can you hear us?
we're driving from Seattle.
This is another one of those things where we had perfect connection for like the 15 minutes before we went live. And then as soon as we hit live, he goes into a dead zone. So that's such is life. Mayo, can you hear us now? I think you may have stabilized a little.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can see you too.
Fantastic. All right, you're there. How are you? So you said you are currently en route to Seattle from Boise.
Yeah, we got 2 more hours of driving. Then we'll be there.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're here. You'll be ready for the show tonight. Mayo and I met in line last night, and I was like, oh, we have no one for the pod tomorrow. Do you want to come on? And he was like, okay. So here we are today. We're going to talk about last night's show, which was a lot of fun. Mayo, why don't you start us off? We got in line a little bit early. Whoa. We got in line a little bit early. There was some weird entry stuff happening at the Knitting Factory last night. It's a really weird venue in Boise as well. It's like in an alleyway. Like the main entrance is in an alleyway, and then the loading dock is on a main street, which is weird. Like the band couldn't even park their buses and trucks at the venue last night. So like Naveed, had to like gauge how much merch he would need, because normally if he runs short on something, he can just run out back to the truck and grab more. And so he was saying last night, he was like, yeah, I have to like really, gauge how much I'm going to sell tonight, because he couldn't just go and get more if he ran out. And yes, thank you, Mother, who is sitting right next to me. No marquee as well, just a knitting ball, a ball of yarn logo hanging above the alleyway. So interesting venue for sure. Very, very small room, which is really cool to see them in. It was like the front of house, like the sound and lights were on like the upper balcony where there were a bunch of reserved tables. The merch was upstairs too. And then there was like kind of a 2-tiered floor. So there was a front area, and then like a railing, and then a back area, which is, I was at that railing, which was a great spot, just kind of right in front of Jeff, which was cool for me. But Mayo, you were up more towards the front, yes?
Yeah, we were like right behind the rail. There was one person in front of me. We were like kind of in between them.
Love it.
On Peter's side.
Yeah, that's Pete's side, sweet side. It's the place to be.
I liked that venue. It was kind of disorganized with their staffing, and like really frustrated everybody getting there.
Yeah. The security was a little bit more thorough than I think it needed to be getting in, but That's the thing. Neil, how was your couch tour set up last night?
Man, I don't know. I had just gotten home last night. I've been on vacation all week. I've been down south
That's why we
visiting some
haven't
family.
seen you as much.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Just kind of settled in. Was watching some playoff hockey.
Nice.
You're excited about that stuff, right?
Oh, I'm
No?
so excited about it. And by me, I mean other members of my family.
Yeah. So did a little bit of that, and then yeah, man, I was stoked to finally hear a show sitting on my couch. It was nice to be couch touring from the couch.
Nice.
If that makes
Love
any
it.
sense.
Love it. Well, so we dive in to the show last night. First couple of songs, we get Butterflies and Look Out Cleveland. Pretty awesome start to the show. We have the new, the smaller, more pared down lighting rig in this venue that we saw at the Georgia Theater in Athens in March, with that like kind of curtain at the front of the stage of lights, which Getty really like immediately during the Butterflies jam is that like kind of cloud of angry buzzing that Rick creates is happening. Like he just put up like a wall of light in front of the band, and you could like barely see them at times, but it was really, really cool and a really cool way to start off the show. I absolutely love Butterflies. And then Look Out Cleveland. We had heard them sound check this, while we were waiting in line. My first time seeing this song, I was so excited about it. Obviously, Clav tweets were had. This was funky. This was great. Rick destroyed it as he does. But man, this was a great way to open the show. Mayo, what were your thoughts on Butterflies and Look Out Cleveland?
Butterflies is just so pretty. It was so good. And Look Out Cleveland. It's fun. It's just an easy song to get going into it. And then all the following jams after were just fire. It was just deep, constant.
The rhythm section last night was on.
You get lost in it. You just get lost in it.
It was an amazing
jive
groove.
Was sick.
Yeah, it was fun. Neil, what did you think of the opening couple of songs?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's funny that you brought up the lights, because I was going to ask you about the lights.
Oh my god!
Every once in a while, that like wall that they do in the front there like really catches my attention. And I had just got done telling you that I don't usually like watch the live stream. I usually listen to it, but I was watching in that part, and I was like, dude, like I can't wait to actually see that in person. I have not yet seen it. I
don't know if you will. That's the thing. It only exists when the venue is too small to support the full light rig. So I don't know if any of the venues they're playing.
Eugene.
Yeah, probably in Eugene later this week. So Neil, you should fly out to Eugene on Tuesday.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll get right out there. It's a nice quick jump from Boston.
Quick jaunt from Boston. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. But yeah, Look Out Cleveland also was the first jam of the night with Ben and Jeff locking in on the double drums. We talked about this a little bit when we were talking about Bozeman, but they are like the two of them are just, they sound so good together here. And so there was another jam later in the show that was just a rhythmic beast that we will get to. But this was like the first one where Jeff was like very, very active in the show last night. There are some shows where Jeff isn't doing as much, I think, but last night he was energetic. He was having a great time. He was playing a lot, which was awesome. So speaking of awesome, let's talk about this All I Need here, because, when they're dropping All I Need anywhere in the show, good things are about to happen. So still no second jam, but this was a really, really amazing 21 minutes here. We get the Factory Fiction teasing, which I was, losing my mind about. The first part of this jam, we get into this really beautiful major key section, like kind of like the cross-eyed intro jam at times. We've been seeing some themes like that crop up on this tour, but just absolutely soaring and beautiful sections. This was one jam also where it felt like Peter was purposely limiting himself to only playing piano. Sometimes there are jams where he'll go to different synths or organ or vibe or clav or what have you, or even like the vibes or the marimba on the Nord. He was sticking to just straight piano on this one. And so it felt like a purposeful thing to me. I know, obviously I'm not in a widely successful improvisational band, but for me, sometimes when I have in the past have been working on my own improvisation, I'm like, okay, for this thing that I'm about to play, I'm only going to play piano because it limits what you can do sonically. So you have to do more in just straight playing on your own. So I thought that was a really interesting thing. I'm not sure whether it was purposeful or not, but this jam was absolutely phenomenal for me. Mayo, what did you think of the All I Need here?
I thought Jeff was popping off during that. I felt, Peter's key energy, it was good. It was really fun.
Neil, what about you?
Yeah, man. I mean, you've already kind of touched on all of the elements of why I thought this was really good. I mean, you get that cross-eyed intro in there, that cross-eyed intro jam. We're not going to call it the Reba Jam. Some people call it the Reba Jam.
Some people, not
some
us.
Some people, they're all wrong. And then, of course, you get a monster Factory Fiction tease in here, right?
I was very excited about it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't talked about it yet. So, I mean, they were playing the song. I mean, it was kind of funny. We were talking about it last night where I was just like, is that a tease? Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
You were too scared to note the tease.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, man, it was quite the Factory Fiction tease. I mean, the only thing they didn't do was start singing the song.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Seemed
Maybe
like
it's coming.
It seemed like when they stumbled upon the theme, like obviously it wasn't on the written set list to be played. It seemed as they stumbled upon it, Peter was kind of pushing for fuck it, let's play the song in the middle of the first set. And Rick was like, nah, like we're going to keep jamming this. So it was cool to see that kind of happen in musical conversation. You know, Rick just stuck to that really opening vamp, but Peter played a bit further into the intro of the song as they were going. So it was cool to watch that happen. Of course, kind of a rocky re-entry to the end of All I Need. But I've heard worse. The one with Trey in Portland was worse.
Yeah, that immediately comes to mind.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every time. Oh, I think we lost Mayo. But, he'll make his way back. After All I Need, set closes with a hot run of Jive 1, Bob Don, So Ready. Man, it's just so Jive 1 is fun. Peter's facing the other direction from the audience, and you can just see that he has a huge smile on his face the whole time. It's not that he's ever not smiling, but
right.
Jive 1 especially is just such a fun song, I think for him and just for them to play. So it was amazing. Bob Don, without, unfortunately, I feel like a first set Bob Don is the right place for the width to happen. But Bob Don has been getting so powerful lately. Just this thick, grimy, hard rock, Rick guitar solo, and Peter's rhythm guitar chords underneath are just amazing. And then So Ready to close the set. Always fun, great solos from both Rick and Peter. What were your thoughts on the end of this first set?
Yeah, man, this is firmly in the category of doesn't have to be huge jams for it to be a killer set. These last three songs are all awesome. Mm-hmm. And those are the kinds of things that you want to see when you go to a show. So, I mean, specifically Jive 1 not getting played nearly as much as it can or should be, in my opinion, these days.
Interesting.
Or Jive, any of the Jives, really, right? Starting in 2022, we get fewer and fewer Jives. And so it's great when they do play it. It's exciting. Which is funny, because when I first started listening to the band, in the first couple months of listening to the band, I thought that it was all jives. Every show had a jive,
Every show
gets a jive. And, so it's cool that it comes back. It's exciting stuff.
Well, the catalog was also a lot smaller back then. We've got Mayo back. Mayo, your thoughts on the Jive 1 Bob Don So Ready?
Oh, Jive's so good.
It was a good time.
I don't know. Yeah. It was fire. Just leading into it, that was one of the ones that Jive 1 and Jive Lead, all of those just draw me in big time, and I was really excited to get that one. I thought during the whole first set up to, I remember talking about it during the next couple songs at So Ready, and just the percussionists were both so in sync together.
Yeah.
And it was just, they were locked in. It was funky.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was amazing. And they did skip Jive Lee, unfortunately, which was on the
Yeah,
written
that's what
set
I was
list.
hoping for Jive Lee, but like Jive 1 is fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was the only audible of the first set, skipping over Jive Lee. Everything else was by the book. So it felt a little bit shorter last night. I think both sets were under 70 minutes. I think maybe there was an 11:30 curfew, it seemed, which was interesting for an 8 o'clock showtime, but they took a very short set break. They went on pretty close to ticket time. So kudos to Goose for clock management last night. That was phenomenal. Thank you. And as we go into,
as
of
far
course,
as that, that's the best time management I've seen in a show. They're usually like
right?
really long set breaks, super late to start.
Yeah. So we move into set break here, of course, short set break, but it's time on the pod where we give the venue bathroom report. Last night at the Knitting Factory, I will say the bathrooms were not as nice as they were in Bozeman. I think that's also because the Bozeman venue was built a year and a half ago. So I think the bathroom
It was like a
nice.
janky bar bathroom.
Yeah, but I found that the one upstairs had way less people in it than the one coming right off the floor. So pro tip, always go to the upstairs bathroom, even if you're on the floor.
When in Boise.
When at the Knitting Factory in Boise. If you ever find yourself there again. But yeah, it was that's our bathroom report. Mayo, do you do anything exciting at set break or just kind of hang out at your spot and talk about what happened?
The smoke set break was like a 10 by 10 foot square, and it was like shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah. It was a little tight in there. Well, let's start off this second set here. We get a drive opener. This song, again, has been going through a lot of change over the last year. First they eliminated the woes, and then they were jamming out different portions of the song and, putting it in different places in the set list. So it was, it's really interesting to see how it's kind of over the last few versions, it's just kind of become this 8-minute rager of a song, which as far as it goes in, as that, it does it really well. And I like it like that. The only issue with it that I have is, whenever they play it, whenever they don't jam it, I think of previous massively jammed versions. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of what we're losing out on here. But it's a hot guitar solo. So,
Yeah, I'm in that category of being bummed out by the 8-minute or less drive.
Yeah.
Because I know what it could be. And it also bums me out that the song's getting this is like the fourth short drive, maybe a third
I think.
Yeah. And, that's 3 whole drives that could have been really sick. And it's kind of a drag.
Yeah.
But, they got to keep it interesting.
We started the year off so strong for drive with the Cat version. And then,
maybe they're just like, we can't top
this.
Let's just stop at that drive.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I don't know at this point. I don't know if a jam is going to come back to the song until they bring back the woes. Because I think at this point, with how powerful that guitar solo has become, I don't think, they kind of get to the end of it. And like last year when it was still like more of a mellow solo, it was like, all right, we're just going to, extend it and keep jamming. But I feel like now they're just kind of like, where do we go? Like, are we just going to awkwardly start into a groove? So I'm curious to know the thought process behind it, the continued evolution of drive, and if and when we will see it start to jam again. But what were your thoughts on the drive, Mayo?
It's like a sprint. It has so much energy, and it sustains that energy. It just sustained it. But then, and then it's just done. And you're like, damn, I wish. Yeah, it did feel kind of robbed getting. Because I've seen Drive a few times, but I've never seen Drive jammed.
Oh, really? It'll happen. You'll get that. You'll get that someday.
Heard them and couch toured them and stuff like that.
Right.
Like one of your favorite songs, and it's the song just said it's just good. It's just a good song, and
it is.
Yeah, the solos in it. The solos last night were fire. Rick was like a laser beam on point. and just it was amazing. It was amazing. It was so much energy. But I wonder if he does because I mean that's so much shit, so much intricate work, so much. It's it's hard, and I wonder if it's more of an endurance thing to play that much stuff for past that. And they're just like he's like it takes a lot out of me. I don't know, but it was awesome. It was good. It was great.
Yeah. I was loving it. That solo is so much fun to be in the room for. And then they fire up the Wisteria, which immediately, like it's going down. Like when they open the set with a banger drive like that. Yeah, it's like, all right, here we go. This is the big one. And of course it was. The era of Wisteria continues. Man, it was so good. So again, a rhythmic beast here. The two drummers and Trevor locking in. The other really cool thing about this jam is, Peter was laying down these just like textures on the vintage vibe, not doing his like kind of solo thing that he does in Creatures a lot, but just laying down chords and playing like, a layer, a gentle bed of electric piano, if you will. And from where I was standing in the venue, because the room is so small, I could hear the vibrato going back and forth from the left and right side of the PA, which, when you see Goose in an arena, you're not getting that unless you're like dead center at the back of the arena. So that that only happens in very specific spots in big venues. And so getting to do it in a small venue where it's intimate and you can hear that effect was just incredible. So they get into this rhythmic jam, Rick hanging back, and it didn't feel like any one of them was soloing. This is a kind of jam that we've started to see more of, where they're all playing together instead of like a Rick-led section or a Peter-led section or, something like that. But Mayo, what did you think of this big Wisteria jam?
I was on Rick's side, so I couldn't. Trevor was popping off, and it was awesome. It was awesome. It just kind of like the energy built up, and then they just sustained it. And I was like, dude, this is a long, good. It was just fire.
Yeah.
It was so long, I forgot what song it was for a second.
That's the goal.
And
that's always the goal.
Like, I was like, is this still? I was like, oh my god. Yeah. But yeah, I think Peter just kind of didn't really put a whole lot of highlight on him. They find him because like Trevor, I felt like during the show, didn't really highlight himself a whole lot. And that song he got too, pretty good.
Yeah. Neil, what was this Wisteria like from the couch?
I mean, it was great, and then I listened to it twice already today.
Nice.
I don't know. This is a good one, and I don't know. I might take some heat for saying this, but this is what a standard Wisteria is becoming.
Interesting.
Which is like crazy because it's
Show your
so
work.
Good. Well, no, that's like my point is like it doesn't get worse than this. I'm not saying this is bad, but so you would get Wisterias in years past where you get like a solid 7-minute section of Rick just kind of ripping a solo, and then they eventually come to the end, and you're like, yeah, that Wisteria was fun.
It was good, yeah.
But this is the normal. This is the baseline now, and it's awesome. Like they don't play a bad version of it. This is the kind of thing you get every time. Right. There's no kind of boring jam.
That's one thing I love about Goose is their jams are consistently good.
Yeah.
They're improv. Like you see Fish improv a lot of stuff, and a lot of time it's good and it's fire, and then a lot of times you have a lot of people what the hell is going on in that moment?
Yeah. So Neil, what you're saying is that my mental hasty rank of Jam of the Year is not correct.
No, I don't think so. Okay. I mean, but it's good. It's really good. But I think there are other Wisterias already this year that are like this Wisteria. And they're all awesome. I love them.
It was really the Peter textures early on in the jam was what really grabbed me about it, which obviously I gravitate towards it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean this for me is more consistently good. I don't want to pick apart jams or anything like that because it just doesn't.
That's what we do on this podcast.
Well, yeah, I guess not necessarily in the day after, but this one isn't an all-timer. But I'm listening to it. I mean, I've listened to it a couple times already today. Walk the dog. I was I'll walk the dog. I'm gonna listen to this again. And I went back to this one before I went back to That All I Need. So 100%. I mean, it's definitely the best jam of the show. It's killer.
Absolutely. I think last night was interesting too, because you saw each set was anchored by a big jam. And then outside of that, didn't really have any other improvisation. Like, it was just fun. Cleveland accepted. And like, you know, the improv was contained within songs otherwise. You know, there was 20-minute All I Need, 23-minute Wisteria, and then a bunch of really fun songs. So after this Wisteria, you know,
it's an undersell, by the way. Undersell a bunch of like really fun songs.
I know. I'm really underselling it. But the build into Get the Funk Out of My Face was fun, very, very seamless. You know, great placement for the cover, and I think they went into it perfectly. You know, like Rick kind of did like the look behind to Ben as if they were gonna like build into a peak. And I was like, oh, is he gonna do that thing where he just kind of like, you know, builds it into like a regular Bliss peak and then we'll keep going, whatever. And so the Get the Funk Out of My Face took me completely by surprise. And it was a lot of fun. The crowd loved it. I felt the energy was amazing. Mayo, what was your reaction to them going into this cover?
Oh, it was just nonstop energy at the front. Everybody's bouncing around. It was fun. That's always a good song.
Love it. Neil, how are you feeling about this?
Oh, dude, I loved it last night. I mean, I was like fired up about this. You know, seen them do it live before. I love it when they do this song because I think there's like some meaning in there, which is like basically like, you don't like our shit? Yeah, fuck you. Which is great. And you know, like I wish I did it like encored with it like every show at Taboose.
Yeah, we talked about this a lot when we were talking about the Taboose run and when they played it there.
Yeah. But like there was like a jam section in here, which I think in the moment I was like, they are absolutely playing Thatch. I went back and listened to it today.
And it's not Thatch.
I mean, Trevor absolutely is playing the Thatch bass line at one point. Because I think once you got into that funk space,
putting on the website.
Well, I don't think so. But like once you get into that space, like you know, it's like let's just play Thatch. Like why?
Yeah, like why not?
I mean, it's just rage. It was only a few minutes of it, but it was killer.
Thatch we might get this weekend or Eugene at the latest. I think, you know, based on the current show gaps for it. I think, you know, it's coming in one in the next 3 nights. Neil, you are not alone here in hearing the Thatch.
Yeah, no, it was there for sure. I mean, Trevor was just in the, you know, like that one kind of like thumb hit that he does. I don't know. In any case,
right. Well, it was a lot of fun, and then we get a nice cool down for like the first half of Turn Clouds, and then you know Rick just takes it back up once again. You know, another amazing guitar solo, and then the other song that we heard get sound checked earlier. So happy when this dropped. Another Jeff Engborg. In Your Face, Neil. You know, that's now my 4th Engborg that I've
that's
seen.
Ridiculous. That's
I
all
saw
of them,
2
isn't
last March. No, there have been 6. So
okay.
Seattle last year, 2 last March, and then St. Louis in October, the Cap, and last night. So I've seen 4 of those, everything but St. Louis and Seattle. So you know, I mean, I love this song. It's the Clav song. It's a dance party. The energy in the room is amazing. This one felt a little bit more extended than Engborg has been normally. But this song is just so much fun, man. Mayo, had you caught an Engborg before?
Agor?
Jeff Engborg.
Oh. Sorry.
Was it your first one last night?
Yeah.
And what did you think?
I kind of zonked out a little bit towards the later of the set. I just remember to be honest, I just remember just the energy sustaining.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing through there I remember.
Love it. Love it. Neil, how are you feeling on the couch when they went into Jeff Engborg?
Well, I'm excited that they're playing it.
Okay.
Right? So that's a good thing. I mean, it's getting a few plays a year.
What was the first emotion that you had when they started playing?
Oh, I tweeted that I hate your guts.
Fury.
With no context, actually, which was great because I got all kinds of people agreeing with me. Like, yeah, I kind of hate that guy too.
He's really annoying.
Yeah, no. And then I offered context, and then folks knew what was going on. But yeah, man, I'm excited for you. You know, you're catching all this good stuff. I mean, there's amazing things going on out there, and you know, good for you, man.
Thank you.
You're seeing a lot of rarities.
Thank you. Yeah. Listen, speaking of rarities, after this Engborg,
you like that segue?
First song of the encore. That was really what you set it up. I'll knock him down.
Yeah.
We should start a podcast.
Yeah, no kidding.
Lead the way, finally coming back after 40 show gap or something. It was 40 shows exactly.
Minnesota.
Last played in Oklahoma City in October. Man, I was so excited. This was my most common not seen as well. Now my most common not seen, at least for originals, is This Old Sea, which I'm really hoping we get this weekend.
Which one?
This Old Sea, I still haven't seen, so I'm hoping for it this weekend. But Lead the Way last night was amazing. Pretty concise jam section as well. Some more nice vintage vibe work from Peter in this one. But you could tell the whole crowd was so excited about this song. I think the band was excited about it too. I was so excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that this song has become a rarity, because when I started listening to this band, this was like an every third show kind of song.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, it's awesome. I'm on record on how I feel about this one. There is a jam built into the song that is so cool.
Yeah.
And I wish they played it all the time. So
I wish they played it for a really long time.
I mean, someday the 20-minute version will happen.
That and Butterflies.
They will announce from stage, like, thank you, Neil, for the idea of jamming for 20 minutes. It'll all happen. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. I mean, you've had the idea for longer than they have because they haven't played it yet. So
yeah, but I mean, I also can see like why they don't play it anymore. I mean, this song like breaks my heart like every time I listen to it. I mean, it just makes me so sad. But it's such a good song. It's so good.
It is. And then surprise, figured the show was over there. Tack on a nice Love Light. I mentioned in my review that I wrote of last night's show, don't skip this Love Light if you were in the habit of skipping Love Lights. There's a really cool 45 seconds of insane guitar noises that happens in it.
Ghostbusters teaser?
There's not a Ghostbusters teaser.
There absolutely is.
No, there's not.
Type in the chat if you heard Ghostbusters teased, not like the Ghostbusters rap.
Yeah,
like the actual Ghostbusters song. See.
I thought you would just click the wrong song as the tease. I thought it was.
No, they absolutely tease Ghostbusters.
I still don't think.
Say in chat if you heard it. Or
anyone else heard it.
Say something on Twitter, flame Ryan, do all the things.
And if you don't agree with Neil, okay, you know what? That's one other person.
I rest my case.
Okay, send me a timestamp.
I will after the show.
Listen for this. I
will sift through the full 4 minutes of that song to actually find that for you.
I see at the show last night. I heard the lick, and I was like, that sounds kind of like Ghostbusters. But I don't think it fully is. So maybe the soundboard will convince me otherwise.
We'll see.
We'll take it to the committee. We'll deliberate there. But you laugh, but the committee's a real thing.
No,
you
not.
laughing makes
it's
it seem like the committee's not real.
The committee of one.
There's five. There are 5 of us on the committee. There are 5 people. Thank you, Mother, for coming to my defense here.
Oh, Lisa, I thought you were on my side.
She is sometimes. This was a fun way to end the show. Love Light, always fun. My only complaint about this song is that Spuds doesn't sing into the mic. He's singing along, and he has sang backup on it sometimes. But you got to have the Spuds Love Light vocals.
Dude, in Idaho?
Come on. I know.
Right?
We had a
expecting...
We didn't mention the potato chant before the show. We were all chanting Spuds when they walked out on stage, and he started going to the mic, potato, potato. So,
oh man, for sure. Well, I mean, maybe that's just what folks from Idaho do, when they're just cheering. They're just,
potato.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah. But no, I thought there would be some acknowledgement of Idaho from Ben, more than just the potato thing. But
yeah, I mean, the potato thing is the whole thing.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I wanted something extra, something to really emphasize, but I mean, I guess not.
That's fair. Well, we've got another show tonight in Seattle. We have reached the Pacific time zone, the true bane of East Coast webcasters. I am very happy that I am at the show and I don't have to stay up until 3 a.m. For a week and a half watching shows. So thank you for me being here.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for really lead up tonight. I'm ready for lead up. We're gonna burn
Dude,
down the Paramount Theater with Lead Up.
if you take a look at like what is available to be played, just because of the way that they've kind of lined up songs over the last few days, I mean, one, they very, very clearly are walking into the Pacific time zone with a full tank.
Yep.
They got everything lined up. You can see it all about to happen. But what they do have on the front end of this is like a lot of like non-jam songs that absolutely rule.
Yeah.
So at least the next two shows, you're going to get a bunch of really good ones. Like you're going to get a bunch of the new songs that absolutely rule. And it's going to be great.
Yeah. Listen, Lucas Anderton decided not to fly in today, which means they're going to play Lead Up tonight. So
Lucas.
Yeah, I know. Shame on him, right?
Seattle 1, Lucas 0.
0. Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm excited to catch up with a lot of amazing people tonight. You know, we've got Haps and Haps Jr. in Seattle, which I'm very excited to see and possibly bother with my singing. You know, Kamito's here too, which means the vibes in the room are going to be out of control. Like if anyone was at the Cap and noticed that the vibes were out of control, it's because when you put those two guys in a venue together, it's like can't be topped.
Well, you got like Jake's going to be there too, right? I mean, like it's like vibes are going to be blowing up all over the place. It's going to be awesome.
Vibes are high in Seattle today. We're ready for the show. Don't forget, showtime is a little bit earlier tonight. It is 7:30 Pacific, not the 8 o'clock that it has been recently. But of course, that's still later than it has been the last few nights because it's a time zone back. But 7:30 showtime tonight. It's going to be a fun show. We've got 2 nights this weekend. I'm excited. I hope you're excited to watch because we all know you're going to be awake.
We'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. But we will be back here tomorrow at 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern to recap tonight's show, which is going to be fun. You know, I'll see you in 23 hours and 20 minutes or something, if I did that math correctly.
Bring Skoy out with
that. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how he does. Well, thank you everybody so much for tuning in to this episode of Day After Show. Let us know your favorite parts of last night's show and what you are hoping to hear tonight. Tweet at us at AAT GoosePod or find us on any other social media platform under the same handle. Yep. We will see you back here
in line at the show.
Or in line at the show. Or at the show. You know, we're everywhere.
Yeah.